Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First story, entitled Karen picks up and then drops my service dog on her face, and she gets herself arrested. Okay, so my service dog of 5 years recently passed away due to cancer on the 3rd of this year, and I remembered this story. I'm 14 and this story took place when I was 13. So I was on a GameStop at the mall that I went to weekly because I had ice skating classes and I had my service dog with me. She was a psychiatric service dog trained to avoid anxiety attacks that can lead to harm to myself and others and to alert me to when I might pass out. She did not have a vest because it interfered with her work and my disability, and by ADA law, she doesn't need one in that case. But she did not have a leash that read, "Anxiety Service Dog, do not pet." And I was looking around and I also just wanted to pop in and say hi to an employee, the GameStop lady who I was pretty chill with. I was looking at a game for my Switch, I think Minecraft, and my dog was behind me for a task. Basically to make more space for me to avoid an episode, since people being down my neck is a huge trigger for me. And I hear this lady,
"Oh, cute puppy."
and she picks up my working service dog. "Oh, can you please not pick her up? She's working and has to stay focused." I then was cut off by Karen, who was still holding my dog.
"It doesn't have a vest, it's fine."
"Excuse me. By law, she doesn't need one if it..." I was cut off again, but this time I could feel like I was about to have a really bad episode. I felt like I was going to faint as my dog struggled to get to me and out of Karen's grasp. Then the employee friend came to my rescue. "Ma'am, please let go of Dee Dee. She's a working dog and what you're doing is illegal by distracting a working service dog."
"No, this is my daughter's surrogate dog."
"Who's her daughter? I don't know. She was there alone, no kids." Next thing I know, I was falling down and it went black for me, and this next part was told by the employee. She said that after I went out, Karen dropped my dog on her face. My dog was small, a Chihuahua and Dachshund mix, and Karen, she was around 6'3". They said my dog just got up and rushed over to me and started tasking by licking my face and laying on my stomach to try to wake me up, but I did not wake up for a while because it turns out I hit my head on a glass display case and they called 911 because I wasn't getting up. I woke up to mall security and cops around me as one cop was cuffing Karen. Later I found out that she was getting arrested for assault, animal cruelty, attempted robbery, distracting a service dog, and attempted murder. My dog and I ended up being okay. I don't know very much on illegal stuff, I just didn't even want to bother with it. We just didn't have the time or money to really do anything about it. Please do not distract working service dogs. The handler of that dog is depending on that dog to do its job to keep them safe or alive. When you distract a service dog, it cannot do its job, and is put to impose the dog and the handler at risk of injury or death. And please know that these aren't just dogs. They are medical equipment and are here not for your entertainment, they are here to do their jobs. Next story. Karen in a big box orange apron store for high security keys. Okay, I worked for this company till early 2006. Right after I got fired, I ended up suffering a TPI, but that's a different story. On occasion, someone I talked to 45 minutes ago may not be recognized / remembered immediately. No, nothing marks me as an employee. I was dressed in green denim carpenter pants, a black pocket tee over a green thermal Henley shirt, a black tactical vest with far too many pockets matters later, gray beanie and a multicolored blue hoodie under the vest. I'm waiting to get a couple of keys made. In front of me, the woman takes out a key that I can only describe as a prison/jail door key. Very thick, oddly curved sheet metal, at least 6 inches long. Instead of letting her wait in line for another 5 or 4 people, I explained that they only have household type keys and padlock keys and recommend a couple of different locksmiths. She happily thanked me and left a line. The next lady asked for 15 copies of 10 or so keys. The PG started counting out key planks before explaining he had to get a ladder to get more from the overhead. He gave us all in line, about 10 of us, a slip of paper with our line spot/time and date because he has many keys to cut. I say no problem, cool with me. I have other shopping to do, most of it right around this area. So I leave to start grabbing my other items, slipping in my wireless earphones. My first stop was the safety pin clips for a folding workbench I have, one aisle over. I find the right drawers, kneel and start pulling out the wrong stuff, sorting other things to the proper locations while looking for what I need. Thinking I smell beer. Someone taps me on the back of my head, looking over my shoulder. And there she was, a drunk Karen. A woman at least in her 50s, grey and blonde hair, shoulder-length pigtails, yes, little girl style pigtails, knee-length dark blue pinstripe skirt with matching vest with many marks from a name tag pinned on the right side, white blouse with liquid stains, and oversized stained red bow ties. "Make these," she says, pushing 3 medical keys into my face. As I realize she is a beer I'm smelling. I don't have a good sense of smell, so for me to smell it, it has to be really strong. I tell her I don't work here, and go back to finding my 4 safety pins. My glasses get ripped halfway off my face, halfway pulling my mask off and breaking my glasses strap. What the hell? I look at her. Then she demands, "Just make them, I'm tired," tossing the keys at me. "Sorry, I don't work here. Haven't for over 10 years. I say, annoyed, looking at the medical keys that are engraved, "Do not copy." I explain, trying real hard to keep it civil. These are security keys. You need a locksmith and permission from the owner of the keys. Just make them already and quit crying about it. If you don't work here, how would you know so much?" She says with a snarky gotcha grin. I say I don't work here, ma'am, trying to give her back the keys. Then she says loudly, "Do not ma'am me, you fat witch. I'm a guy, though a heavyweight." I point to the kid with a ladder to get the key planks and say, "He can help you, ma'am," thinking she needs a boot someplace the sun doesn't shine. I find my pins and go off to get my other stuff. Then the Karen goes up to the kid and demands keys. And the poor key guy tells her sorry, but there are people in front of you, ma'am, he says meekly. He eyes me as I walk past him. Then I mouth sorry to him. Karen screams, "You refuse to help me, fat witch." I didn't hear the reply, I just went after my other items, wishing someone would boot her in the rear. I'm about to go back to get my keys made. I'm on the whole other side of the store. I look up to a large gym guy with a red nose, D-bag, and dark blue pinstripe dress pants, untucked white dress shirt with a yellow stained sleeve, standing at the head of the aisle, waving someone over. My gut starts screaming, "Danger! Will Robinson danger!" As our eyes met. Then Karen pops around the corner with a vicious, asinine grin, throwing 4 keys at me, demanding, "Make my keys or else." I am getting more annoyed than before. I say, "Or else? I don't work here, ma'am. I can't. I don't even know anything about that type of machine." Studying the waistline of the bag since it looks off, thinking he has a holster in his pants on the right side. Then I see that the bag coming towards me. "Make her keys now," he says maliciously, as he trips on a short wing stack of something, flat on his face, crunching sort of falls. Then Karen ran over to D-bag as he's frozen for a second or two, with straight shivering legs in the air. Before they bend, he starts to get off the wing stack. His shirt sliding up exposes two expensive-looking hammerheads. One head grabbed his side pretty good. I was relieved he wasn't packing.
Look what you did!
Karen yells at me. D-Bag gets up with the help from the drunk Karen, with blood running from his eyebrow and more pouring from his broken nose. I can see swelling already starting on the right side of his face and his eye reddening. D-Bag grabs his mouse kinda quickly as he's swaying with the drunk Karen, holding him and hurls through his fingers and out his broken nose, spraying the Karen from her cheek down her front left side. Karen let go and let D-Bag fall backward onto his rear with a wet smack, wondering if he messed himself up, very possible with the seizure-type leg shaking he had. I packed up and went down the next aisle to the front of the store, calling the number on one of the keys, leaving a message of the rundown of the chick demanding copies and the guy, and his broken nose if not his whole face. I walk up to a cashier and ask her to call a manager. "Sir, they are in meeting. Why do you need one?" I hand her the key and tell her the whole story as the hardware kid who was making keys earlier stops to talk to us. The key guy says, "Hey, what was her problem with you?" I tell him she thought I worked here. She's an ex-aisle and that guy puked there all over her and everything. He also fell over a wing stack and smashed his face hard, breaking his nose probably. "Oh really?" The cashier asks. "Is it that bad?" I tell her yeah. Interrupt the mod and that key is a security key. You might get a call on it as I already called the number on it and filled them in. The key guy says, "I hate people like her," sounding annoyed. Paged back to the key machine. The cashier tries to talk to whoever is on the other side of the line, yelling at her. I ask, "Sorry, do you need anything from me?" The cashier, looking upset, says, "I don't know." I gave her my information and, in case of any issues, left it check out. Edit. I received a call from a security officer, Specialist James. He said they are missing 4 keys out of 9 keys, and there is a reward for their recovery, even though they are no longer usable. Next story. So what if there is a fire? Ring up my groceries. Recently, I was talking with some co-workers about old jobs we had, and I remember this gym. I remember this story vividly because it was so absurd. January 1st, 2017. I, who was 23 at the time, was in the middle of my shift at the local grocery store as a checkout clerk, or the official term of front-end associate. I was just chatting with customers as I rang up their chips and sodas and rotisserie chickens like a usual day, when one of the stalkers ran up behind me and yelled, "How busy is everyone?" Confused, I simply gestured to my line of people, but he had our attention, since he never did anything like that. My manager asks, "Why do you ask? Everything okay?" And the stalker says, "Once you're all finished with your current customers, everyone needs to leave. There is a fire in the back." Immediately, all who were not being checked out abandoned their carts and left the building, except for Gerald. Gerald was the next person in my line, and he was going to be served. The customer before him paid, since that was where I was with his transaction when the stalker told us about the fire, and I grabbed my jacket from under the counter so I could evacuate with everyone else. Gerald, however, was not having it. "You will not leave until you have rung up my groceries." Now Gerald was very old, mid-70s, early 80s, something like that. He was very tall and lanky, wearing a tan V-neck sweater. I don't know why I remember that, but I do. He wore black, thick-rimmed glasses and would have generally been very non-threatening to anyone else. "Sir, there is a fire. We have to get out of here for both our safeties. The door is over there. Let's hurry." It seemed that today was not Gerald's day, and I was in the wrong person's way at the wrong time.
"I don't care. I need those items. Bring them up now."
He really was threatening me to ring up his 7 items while smoke was filling the aisles. Since it was 7 items, no manager was in sight, and I wasn't really feeling like getting a black eye in addition to having my workplace burn. I quickly rang him up, all the while he thanking me quite condescendingly, and I was paying him no mind since I knew the tone. Finally, my manager showed up back to make sure everyone had left. I ran over to her. "Manager, please help me. This guy won't let me leave." "What? What do you mean? What do you mean won't let you leave? Did you tell him about the fire?" "Yeah, he said he doesn't care." "Oh my god, absolutely not. OP, you go outside with everyone else and wait for the firefighters. I'll take care of this." I went to grab my things again, and while I was leaving, I could hear them both yelling.
Where is she going? She has to finish."
"Sir, there is a fire for God's sake. You have to leave."
"No, I still have to pay."
"You have got to be kidding me. I'm a manager. You can have it, it's free. Just get out of here."
"This is terrible customer service. I'm never coming back."
I met up with the rest of the staff in the parking lot, and they asked what took me so long. So of course I told them. My manager came out and confirmed the story. And we never did see Gerald again. About the fire, it was actually pretty contained on its own. It was in a closed-off area opposite the bathrooms and was surrounded by the tile walls that blocked the food from the sparks. We were able to get back to work after it was put out, starting with putting back all the abandoned carts full of food. As for what caused it, it seemed that chickens used to make the rotisserie chickens weren't stored properly, so they started to thaw prematurely. The water and chicken juice leaked through the tile floor and sparked an electrical fire. The best part was when we learned this, we were still in the parking lot. I looked over to the parking lot to the side of the building and saw at least 50 turkey buzzards in the trees. I shook a coworker while laughing hysterically. They can smell him. Everyone else joined in on the hysterical laughing. It was truly the weirdest way to start the year. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.